You're working hard, your calendar is packed, yet you feel like you're spinning your wheels, not truly moving forward. What if the secret to breaking out of this busy but stuck cycle isn't about doing more, but doing things differently? This video uncovers Jim Rohn's 7 powerful strategies, a proven roadmap used by influential figures to transform overwhelm into real progress. Prepare to discover practical steps that can help you redefine your path to wealth and happiness, even when time is your most precious commodity. Let's find out which strategy will be your breakthrough. Many people have a good idea of what they want to accomplish, but they often struggle to understand why all their hard work doesn't result in actual progress. Could it be that the main hurdle isn't something outside of them, but rather the way they are structured internally? Busy professionals frequently set targets and try to learn new things, yet that satisfying sense of making real headway just doesn't arrive. This kind of pattern often results in feeling drained and worn out without much real movement towards one's objectives. The specific mindset trap that keeps dedicated professionals stuck even when they are working harder than ever is precisely this: a failure to distinguish between mere busyness and effective, goal-oriented action. They believe activity equals achievement, but it's a costly misjudgment. The first strategy to counter this is to define clear goals. The core issue this strategy tackles is how unclear or fuzzy hopes lead to your energy being scattered in too many directions. Jim Rohn's approach involves setting goals that are not only distinct, but also compelling, acting almost like magnets for your attention and your creative thinking. For instance, instead of a broad aim like, "I want to be successful in my business," a much stronger, defined goal would be something like, "I will increase my professional service revenue by 20% over the next 12 months. I'll do this by securing 3 new key clients and by developing and launching 2 new service offerings relevant to my market." This level of precision helps to avoid unproductive drifting. It also lessens the tendency to constantly look for approval from others, which Rohn pointed out as a major cause of stress and wasted effort. To set goals that truly motivate you, rather than just adding to your feeling of being overwhelmed, they mustn't be deeply personal and connect to a strong internal why. It's not enough for a goal to be specific and measurable. It has to resonate with your core values and ambitions. This leads us to why a vast majority, perhaps even 90% of people don't reach their goals, even when they state they know what they want. Often, the want is superficial, or the goal isn't broken down into believable, emotionally engaging steps. The personal connection and compelling reason are missing. The second strategy is to actively seek knowledge and then transform it into wisdom. Many people today feel swamped by an endless flow of data, yet they lack the practical wisdom to apply it effectively. Rohn's method is to be proactive in searching for valuable ideas. This also involves learning from direct personal experience, both successes and failures, rather than just passively taking in information. For example, one might set aside dedicated time each week, not just to read influential books, perhaps even Rohn's own works, but to methodically take notes on actionable insights that can be implemented. True wisdom grows from the thoughtful application of knowledge. It's about processing your experiences, figuring out the lessons they contain, and then using those lessons to make better decisions. This active pursuit of understanding is what truly separates productive individuals, those moving towards their dreams, from those who are merely busy. The real difference is that productive people convert information into insights that directly fuel their clearly defined goals, while busy people often just accumulate data or perform tasks without a clear link to their larger vision. The third strategy centers on continuous personal development. A fundamental truth is that your income, the quality of your relationships, and the level of your achievements rarely rise above the level of your own personal growth. Rohn strongly emphasized the need to consistently work on becoming a more capable, more knowledgeable, and more skillful person. Who you are becoming directly shapes what you can achieve. Therefore, the primary focus should be on personal growth. For instance, if someone aims to move into a leadership position, they should proactively work on developing skills like advanced communication, strategic planning, and team motivation, rather than just trying to do more of their current tasks or working longer hours. This recognition often shines a light on why past attempts at self-improvement might not have yielded the desired results. Your current self-development approach might be working against you if it's too general or not specifically targeted at cultivating the precise qualities and abilities needed for the person who can achieve your specific, compelling goals. It's about consciously evolving into the individual capable of reaching those outcomes. With this foundational understanding of how to set compelling goals, cultivate genuine wisdom, and foster targeted personal development, the path starts to clear. The next essential step is to see how this internal framework can be translated into concrete, real-world results, especially when tackling challenges like managing your finances effectively and making the most of your inherently limited time. You may have built a solid foundation for internal change, understanding your goals, seeking wisdom, and committing to personal growth. But how does this internal shift actually show up in your daily life, leading to a less overwhelming and more prosperous external reality? Many people find this jump from inner understanding to outer results quite difficult. Despite their best intentions and consistent effort, numerous individuals continue to struggle with financial pressures. They also face a constant sense of time slipping away and deal with the negative influence of their immediate surroundings. This part of our discussion introduces Jim Rohn's practical systems, tools specifically designed to tackle these very common, very real challenges. A frequent misunderstanding is the idea that to build significant wealth, you must make extreme personal sacrifices. Another is that effective time management simply means trying to fit more tasks into a day that's already bursting at the seams. These kinds of mistaken beliefs often set the stage for ongoing frustration and a noticeable lack of progress, keeping people stuck in a cycle of effort without reward. The fourth strategy, then, is to manage your finances wisely. The specific problem this strategy confronts is the widespread financial anxiety that many people feel. Anxiety that doesn't go away even when working incredibly hard. Rohn calls this the 70-30 rule. It works by allocating 70% of after-tax income to living expenses and discretionary spending. The remaining 30% is then divided equally into three important categories. 10% goes to charitable giving, which Rohn believed was important for developing an abundance mindset. Another 10% is directed to capital investments for wealth creation, money you put to work to make more money. The final 10% goes into traditional savings. This system isn't about harsh restriction, it's about intelligent and purposeful allocation of your resources. A very practical way to implement this is to set up automated transfers for these exact percentages as soon as your income arrives. This clear, structured 70-30 rule offers a concrete path toward financial independence without feeling constantly deprived or sacrificing your lifestyle. Instead, it builds wealth systematically. Strategy number 5 is to master your time. The issue here is the chronic feeling of being behind schedule, constantly overwhelmed by a packed calendar. Rohn's solution is to encourage you to become an enlightened time manager. This isn't about just working longer hours, which often leads to burnout. Instead, it involves deliberate, thoughtful planning and rigorous prioritization of your tasks. A critical part of this is learning the essential skill of saying no to non-essential demands. For example, Identify your peak productivity periods, times when you are most focused and energetic, and reserve those slots for your most critical, high-value tasks. By adopting this strategic view on how you use your time, you can break free from the overwhelm cycle that's stealing your progress and regain control over both your daily life and long-term objectives. The sixth strategy from Jim Rohn is to surround yourself with winners. The problem this addresses is the very real draining effect that negative or unsupportive individuals can have on your energy levels and your ambition. Rohn's solution is built on the principle of association. Quite simply, you are significantly influenced by the people with whom you spend the most time. Therefore, you should actively seek out individuals who are positive, success-oriented, and supportive. At the same time, you must consciously limit your exposure to persistent negativity and those who don't encourage your growth. Examples of putting this into practice include joining professional mastermind groups where members support each other's goals, or seeking mentorship from figures you respect and who have achieved what you aspire to. Finally, strategy 7 is to learn to live richly. The common problem here is a tendency to pursue ambitious goals so intensely that present enjoyment is sacrificed. This can lead to a life that is proficient and perhaps even financially successful, but ultimately unfulfilling. Rohn's solution is to embrace and truly enjoy the journey itself, not just focus on the destination. It's fundamentally about achieving a sustainable and enjoyable balance. A practical example is to intentionally schedule time for your hobbies, personal interests, and for connecting with loved ones, viewing this not as a distraction from success, but as an integral part of it. These latter strategies, particularly when you combine them with the foundational work on goals, wisdom, and personal development, powerfully demonstrate that achieving both wealth and happiness is not an either-or situation. Instead, it involves integrating these practical, proven systems into a well-rounded, thoughtfully lived life. Often, the root cause of feeling stuck lies in neglecting one or more of these interconnected areas: finances, time, relationships, and personal enjoyment, which underscores that applying these principles holistically is absolutely key to progress. Having explored these 7 powerful strategies, the critical element that bridges knowledge and transformation is consistent action. The true power of Jim Rohn's framework isn't just in understanding, but in consistent daily application. Small, deliberate actions compound, transforming overwhelm into focused progress and lasting fulfillment. One squandered day might seem minor, but as research warns, such days accumulate, potentially turning small failures into significant setbacks. Which strategy resonated most? What single, manageable step will you commit to this week? Remember, the journey from busy but stuck to focused and thriving begins with that first intentional action. As Rohn said, success is a process of turning away from something in order to turn towards something better.